Hello, this is Shelly Ungerank. This is my YouTube channel, Shelly Makes It Happen. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if it happens to be your first time tuning in, I am just a real estate agent in DeSoto, Missouri at Heartland Realty, and I do videos periodically just about general real estate subjects. As always, speak to your own agent about some of the things that I'm going to say. These are all very general videos and kind of just prompted to start some discussion in the real estate world and help you maybe understand some of the concepts. So what I want to talk about today in the video a little bit, because this comes up a lot with sellers, is you go to a listing appointment and they say, I want to sell my house as is. And of course, that's something that you see in the multiple listing service pretty frequently, is houses that are being sold as is. So this is a conversation that I usually have with sellers when they say that. Because in my opinion, not every house, and in fact, most houses are not candidates to be sold as is. And I want to talk, no seller really wants to fix repairs and do things. So I understand that that's something that, is attractive to a seller to be able to sell as is. And if you're in a multiple offer situation, which I hope you are as a seller, and you have people that forego any inspections and any repairs, then, good for you, yahoo. But not every seller is going to be in that pool. So you need to be prepared for that. So let me kind of talk to you, if you're a seller, as to what it means when you see something that as is. That really is a term that is, I feel like, used a lot for people that maybe are moving and need a very quick sell and, simply don't have the time to do any repairs. Some repairs, if you have to call someone out to, put a new roof on or something of that nature, that can be a 6-week ordeal to get someone to do it. So as is a tool that sometimes people use if they're in a hurry to get their house sold, or if they have a lack of funds. They're just in a financial situation where they cannot afford to do any repairs. So if that's you, maybe that is something that you want to consider doing. But if that is not your situation, these are the reasons that you don't want to do that. Number one, if you're a buyer and you're looking at the multiple listing service, or even your agent is looking for houses to show you, and they see as is, there is no way that anyone would ever be able to convince me otherwise, but that lowers your people in the buying pool right out of the gate. So if you've got a house listed and you're thinking you're going to have nonstop showings, you can knock off a very big, I'm going to say off the top of my head, maybe 50% of those people just by saying as is. A lot of buyers are just right out of the gate not going to be interested if they see as is. And this is why. It pretty much says to them, this house has issues. Why else would someone put selling as is in there? Because keep in mind, as a seller, not everything that a buyer asks for is going to be major, like a roof. It might be, a little thing. Can you maybe stretch the carpeting that needs to be stretched? There's a leak underneath the kitchen sink. Can you fix that? Some of the repairs that a buyer may ask for are going to be necessary, but not necessarily extremely costly. So don't automatically think that, you can't afford to do any repair. Some of these things may not be that expensive, but they are things a buyer doesn't want to mess with. And when they see something that says as is, their first thought, and even as an agent, my first thought is, why are they selling as is? What is wrong with this house? So you're already going to sort of put a bad taste in the mouth of some buyers that are just going to say, I'm not interested in that. Because many buyers in the market today, and this definitely is a seller's market, but buyers are attracted. There's no question, studies have been done that your vast majority of buyers on the market today want a move-in ready house. Moving is stressful enough. They're packing up, they're doing loan stuff. A lot of them maybe are doing this for the first time, and it is a stressful process. The last thing they want to do is move into a house and have, 5 or 6 repairs that need done, right out of the gate. That is not an attractive thing, especially to new young home buyers. Move-in ready is something that is generally more attractive to those buyers. So you can't use the term move-in ready and as is. It just, those are two terms that are not going to go well together in your listing. And keep in mind, if you say as is, a lot of people that are doing government loans, if you're doing a USDA, a VA, an FHA, the loan type alone is just not going to let you buy a house that has any kind of an issue. If an FHA or one of the other loans I mentioned, if their appraiser comes to your house and deems that there's some things that they want done or need to be done to make the house safe, like maybe there's a loose rail on the deck, something of that nature. Maybe the fire alarms or the smoke alarms need to be put up. Anything that appraiser says needs to be done for safety reasons will have to be done or the loan will not pass. So if you're a buyer using one of those loan types and you know that, you really aren't interested in an as-is house because chances are you're not going to get your loan to go through. So, they just really don't want to waste their time with that type of a situation. And if it's a big ticket item, let's just say you have a house that needs a new roof or maybe a new septic tank. I'm in a rural area, so septic tanks are, very common issues here in DeSoto, Missouri. So if you have a house that needs a major, repair like that, put that in. That's a whole other conversation, but put that in your listing. It doesn't mean you have to sell the entire house as is. You can say, look, the house needs a new roof. I'm not doing that, but you're still going to allow people to do inspections and possibly ask for some other things. And if you need a new roof, your buying pool is already kind of nil to none because, again, a lot of people with certain types of loans can't buy a house that needs a new roof. Their loan just won't allow it. So what you're really saying to a buyer whenever, you put a house on the market that say as is that you're looking for the bargain hunters. You're looking for maybe the cash buyers, the investors, for people that can afford to do it. But those people are looking for deals. I mean, they're looking for houses to flip. They're looking for you to sell that house. Maybe you got to move because you got some great job out of state and you don't have time to mess with anything. And you're going to put your market on the house for 20% less than market value just because you want somebody to take it and you want to move and be done with it. Great for you. That's perfectly fine. But if you do not want to reduce your price by a large percent under market value in order to get it sold, then you don't want to put as is in there because as is indicates that you are selling your house at a bargain price in order to get it sold for whatever reason that may be. And again, you're really looking mainly, there's going to be a few exceptions, but you're mainly looking for a cash buyer that is a bargain hunter. So if that's not the buyer that you want, if you've got a price in mind for your house and that's the price you want and it's market value or maybe even a little above market value, you don't want to put as is in there because you're just not going to obtain that goal. You're not going to reach that goal with saying as is. So I can't stress that enough, that you may not be a candidate to sell your house as is. And keep in mind, you can put as is in there. You cannot take away a buyer's right to do home inspections. They can take that right away from themselves by sending a form in saying, I'm not doing a home inspection. But you as the seller cannot say to a buyer that you're not allowed to do inspections. Even though you say as is, they can still have inspections and they can most certainly drop off of that contract and get their earnest money back if there's something that comes up in the inspections that they are not satisfied with. So you really have not prevented that whole process from happening. Like I say, it's a multiple offer market. You might find some buyers right now that are forego inspections to make their offer get accepted. And if you do, great, that's an offer you should accept. But I would advise you in most cases, in order for you to get top dollar for your house, to let the buyer forego inspections if they so choose to do that, but do not upfront mandate as is, because you are definitely not going to, in most cases, get the price that you want if you put in there as is. So that's my advice and my take on the as is that you see in the markets today. It's definitely something you need to discuss more thoroughly with your own agent if that's a topic of interest to you and you're getting ready to sell your home. But that's it for this episode of Shelly Makes It Happen. Thank you for tuning in again. If you could take the time to like the video and subscribe to the videos, I would greatly appreciate that. And as always, any comments that you want to put in about future videos or questions, I will definitely look at those and try to accommodate those requests. So thank you so much and have a great day.